Good morning, Namibia. Welcome to my Zone Online School. My name is P.S. Akanime, and I'm with Chanel in the studio. Chanel, let's quickly take our sanitize, and we sanitize our hands. We rub neatly into our hands, inside and outside. And remember to keep our social distance. Hands on math. Our topic for today is multiplication and division number relationship. Boys and girls, let's go on page 8. Our competency for today. The first one is relate multiplications and division as inverse operation. Second competency, we have to apply commutative property of multiplication. The last one, we have to apply associative property of multiplications. Multiplication and divisions as inverse operations. What does this mean? Inverse operations means an operations that reverse the effect of another operation. The inverse operation of multiplication is division, and the inverse operation of division is multiplications. So what does it mean? Boys and girls, let's go on board with the first example. Number 1, we have 5 times 10. What is our answer? 5 times 10 is equal to 50. Good. So, inverse operation is the same as we have 50 divided by 10. What will be our answer? Is 5. That's what we call inverse operation. Boys and girls, I want you to put it in your mind and work it out accordingly. Stay tuned. We'll be back. Boys and girls, we are still on page 8. Hands on math with commutative property of multiplications. If you want to find the answer of any two numbers, you multiply them in any order. This is what we call the commutative property of multiplications. Meaning, when we apply commutative property of multiplications, we first switch the number around and then we multiply it together. But the value or the product stay the same. Boys and girls, let's get on board. The first example. Example 1. We have 10 times 9. What is our answer? 10 times 9 is 90. Good. Remember that we have to switch the number around and we multiply them together. But the product should stay the same. So when we are switching the number, we start with 9 times 10. And our product will stay the same. Boys and girls, we are done to apply commutative property of multiplication. Thank you. Stay tuned. Boys and girls, let's go on page 9. Hands on math with associative property of multiplication. This property lets you rearrange numbers when you have more than 2 numbers in a calculation. Choose numbers which are easy to multiply and group them together. When we apply associative property of multiplications, we group numbers together, so when it's multiplied, it will give a multiple of either 10 or 100 or a 1,000. Boys and girls, let's get on board with the first example. For example, We have 6 times 15 times 5. Good. We have to apply associative property of multiplications. Good. So remember to choose the two numbers that are easy to multiply and group them together. In this case, we take 6 times 5. Group them together. Times 15. Remember the 15. Good. So, what is our answer? 6 times 5. Chanel, what do we get? 30. So, then, the 30 that we get, we still multiply it with 15. So that we can get the final product. So, when we multiply 30 times 15, we get 450. Boys and girls, that is our final answer of 450. That is our product. So we are done to apply the associative property of multiplications. Boys and girls, I want you to go through the example of B, C, and when you are done with that, when you master the method, we can go for activity. What does the activity say? Number 1, apply inverse operations, whereby we have in A, we have 5 times 6. So, what will be the answer with division, which will give us 5? B, 7 times 9. What is our answer? And the inverse operation of that, the answer will be 7. C, 80 divided by 10. What will be the answer? And the inverse operation is multiplication, whereby we'll get 80. D, 42 divided by 7. What will be the answer? With the inverse operation, the answer will be then 42. Boys and girls, work it out. Number 2, we are going to use commutative property of multiplication to calculate A, 3 times 13. Apply commutative property. B, 50 times 4. Apply commutative property of multiplication correctly. C, 240 times 5. Apply the commutative property of multiplication. Boys and girls, I want you to get it correct, please. Number 3, use associative property of multiplication to calculate A, 5 times 13 times 6. What will be the answer? But remember to apply the associative property. B, 2 times 6 times 25. What will be the answer? C, 4 times 7 times 5. You should apply associative property. Boys and girls, that is our end of the lesson for today. Chanel, let's take our spray and then we sanitize our hands inside and outside. And remember to keep this social distance. Bye-bye, Namibia.
Hi everyone. You can't hug your friends anymore, but you can still give yourself some love, or you can practice how to blow hugs. Yeah, 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 yeah. And until next time, bye!
kids. Are you in primary school and want to get extra supplementary maths, English and science lessons? Then invite Learning In with One Africa TV's #LearnOn1 every weekday from 9 to 11 a.m. with repeats from 2 to 4 p.m. And thanks to NMH's MyZone, these lessons are 100% Namibian. There's so much to learn with #LearnOn1. Invite Learning In.
Good morning, Namibia, and welcome to MyZone Online School. I'm Mr. Sean Diergaard, and welcome to our friend Chanel. Good morning, Chanel. But before we can start today's lesson, let's first sanitize. Chanel, let's take out our sanitizer, spray it on our hands, we rub it in nicely through the fingers, we make sure of our social distance. We have our social distance, 1.5 meters away. And today's topic is order of operation, also known as BODMAS. Okay, boys and girls, I hope you've got your books in front of you. And let's turn our books to page 10. Chanel, is your book on page 10? Yes, now let's start with today's topic. As we said, order of operation, also known as BODMAS. Let's read what the competency says. Apply the correct order of operations in calculations involving addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. So what is BODMAS? When a calculation sum involves two or more basic operations, we must apply BODMAS. Now, boys and girls, let's see, what does BODMAS stand for? The B stands for brackets, the O stands for of, the D stands for division, the M stands for multiplication, the A stands for addition, and the S stands for subtraction. So, in short, it means we start with what is in brackets, then division, then multiplication, then addition, and finally subtraction. BODMAS, boys and girls, works from left to right. And that we will explain when we get to the examples. And one important rule in BODMAS: never ever change the order of the numbers. We will also explain that when we get to our examples. So let's turn to page 11, where we can do a few examples. Are we all on page 11? Chanel, are you on 11? Yes, now let's try the first example. 68 minus 21 plus 130. Now here we have got two operation signs. We have a subtraction and we have a addition. Now we need to apply BODMAS. Now remember what we said, BODMAS works from left to right. Now addition and subtraction is like brother and sister. The one that comes first, that one we do first. So here we have a subtraction first, and that part of the sum we will do first. So we say 68 minus 21 equals 47 plus the 130. And now we do the addition sum where we say 47 plus 130 equals 177. Let's try example B. 240 plus 17 minus 6. Now in this example we will see the plus is before the minus. Now remember what we said, they are like brother and sister. That the one that comes first, that one we do first. Working from left to right. So now we're going to do the addition part first. So we're going to say 240 plus 17. That part we're going to do first. And we're going to say that equals to 257 minus 6. Now we do the minus part. And we say 257 minus 6 equals 251. Let's try when we have a multiplication and a division only. Remember again, BODMAS works from left to right. Now multiplication and division is also like brother and sister. The one that comes first, that one we do first. Chanel, are we together? Yes, Chanel is together. So let's try. 20 divided by 5 times 12. We see the division is first. So that one we will do first. So we will first do 20 divided by 5. And we say 20 divided by 5 equals 4. And then we add times 12. 4 times 12 equals 48. We will also see one thing, boys and girls. We do each sum of the BODMAS separately. Let's try example B. 25 times 4 divided by 10. Here the multiplication is first. So work from left to right. So we do the multiplication first. 25 times 4 equals 100 divided by 10. Now we do the division part and we say 100 divided by 10 equals 10. So this is when we only have multiplication and we only have division. Now we have a few examples where there's plus, division, brackets and everything. So let's try these examples. But I want us to try one of these examples on the chalkboard. So let's go to the chalkboard. Okay. On the chalkboard we will see, it says 25 plus 140 divided by 7. Now we need to apply BODMAS. So we first check. Do we've got any brackets? If there was brackets, we would have done that part first. So now do we've got any brackets? No. Do we see the word of somewhere? No. Do we see division? Do we have a division sum? Yes. So that part of the sum we will do first. So we will say equals 25 plus. Now we will do this sum first. And we will say 140 divided by 7. And 140 divided by 7 equals 20. And now I'm left with my addition sum. And now we say equals 25 plus 20, and that is equal to 45. Now remember guys, in the beginning I said, don't change the order of the number. What we meant by that was, although we didn't use the 25 in the beginning, we wrote it in the place it was. So we wrote the 25, and then we did the division sum, and then we added the two sums together. Let's try another example on the chalkboard. Okay, we have 10 times, in brackets, 19 minus 7 plus 24. Now, let's see. There's our sum. So now we are going to go to BODMAS again, and we're going to check. Chanel, do you have any brackets? Yes, we do have a bracket sum. And that part of the sum we do first. So we're going to write equals 10, remember, don't change the order of the number, times, and 19 minus 7 equals 12 plus 24 equals. Now we are done with the brackets. Now we are left with 10 times 12 plus 24. Now we see which of these two sums must we do first. The multiplication or the addition. According to BODMAS, we must do the multiplication first. So we're going to say 10 times 12, and 10 times 12 equals 120. And then we're going to add plus 24. And now we are going to do the last part of our sum. We were going to say 120 plus 24, and that is equal to 144. That was now a really nice BODMAS sum. Why? Because we had a bracket, we had a multiplication, and we had an addition sum. Let's go back to page 11, and then we try the last example together. Let's see number C. 52 times, in brackets, 35 minus 30, close brackets, plus 40 divided by 10. So according to BODMAS, we check, do we have got any brackets? Yes, we do have a bracket. So we're going to say equals 52 times. Now we do the bracket sum. 35 minus 30 equals 5. And then we're going to add the plus 40 divided by 10. Now we're going to do the multiplication part. 52 times 5, and that is equal to 260 plus 40 divided by 10. Now I'm left with an addition, and I'm left with a division. According to BODMAS, I must do the division part first. So equals 260, and then 40 divided by 10 equals 4. So I'm left with 260 plus 4. And now I do my addition sum last, and that is equal to 264. Boys and girls, I hope you understood BODMAS. Just follow BODMAS always from left to right. And now we can turn to page 12, where we have a very nice activity for you guys to do. Now let's go through our activity. It says, do the following calculations using BODMAS. 34 plus 20 minus 8. B, 15 times 3 divided by 5. Number C, 12 minus 45 divided by 9. And number D, 7 times 3 plus 18 minus 13. And then on page 13, our activity continues. Here it says calculate and also apply BODMAS. Number A in brackets, 10 plus 6 times 20. Number B, 27 plus 25 times 8. Number C in brackets, 17 plus 33 times 2 minus 150 divided by 2. Also a very, very nice BODMAS sum because there's a bracket, a multiplication, a subtraction, and a division. So a very nice BODMAS sum. And lastly, 5 times 4 plus 20 minus 8. Boys and girls, I want you to do this activity. In the last page of our booklets, you will find the answer or the memo. But first, try to do these sums before you look at the memo. And that brings us to the end of our class. But before we say goodbye, we first need to sanitize again. So now let's stand up. We have our sanitizer. We sanitize our hands. We rub it in nicely. Boys and girls, do not forget, when you need to go out somewhere, keep social distance and always wear your mask. And from me and Chanel, have a wonderful day. Goodbye.
Hi everyone, I'm back, and if you are scared of what you read on social media, talk to your parents and ask them the questions. They know everything. Until next time, bye!
You've got to be anything, you should be everything. Strength provider, the architect of every ring. Experience penny years, see the face of God and live.
I pray to God for my enemy. Why you ready, Insta baby, Insta baby. Why you lying? Shake what your mama gave ya. Everybody move what your mama gave ya. Everybody shake what your mama gave ya. Everybody move, yeah, lost, fuck.
You are now watching the B10 Countdown.